a dancer, civil rights worker, an actress, a professor, been nominated for a Pulitzer Prize and a best-selling author. So I'm sure you'll want to meet Maya Angelou. Maya, I think we've seen you as an actress in Roots.
Yes.
You played in Roots.
For about 4 minutes.
Yes, weren't you Kunta Kinte's great-grandmother or something?
Well, grandmother. I mean, I know I'm aging even as we speak.
But this program's enough to age anybody. But I tell you what, in the heat in here, you lose weight quickly.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I should come again.
And then you're now a university professor.
Yes.
But the early years were a bit... a considerable struggle, weren't they?
Well, hectic is the kindest word one can use. I did a little of everything and quite a lot of some things. I was, at 16, I had a child, and I wasn't married. And my mom, who was a very staid and particular kind of woman, and still is, funny, but stayed, said to me, if I didn't love the fellow who was the father of the child, and he didn't love me, she said there's no reason to spoil 3 human beings' lives. She would not force me to get married, which I thought was terribly generous, and friendly for her. I mean, she makes little cards when she has people over for coffee in the morning, my mom. At 17, I went to work. I put my son on one hip, figuratively, and also real.
But didn't you have your child because, in fact, you were worried about your own sexuality? You were so tall and thin.
Well, that's true. That's why I want to be invited back to get thin again. But I really was.
Not so you could get pregnant again.
No, please. No, please, I draw the line. No. I will be thin, or I'll just be fat and with no children, no more. I had a very deep voice, and I was 15 and almost 6 foot tall. And I had been through a number of psychological problems, one which made me a mute for 5 years. I had my own platter full. And then suddenly I read about lesbians, and I thought, oh my God, it's happening. I'm going to be a lesbian. So, I was just, I couldn't seem to develop like other girls, When I pulled my clothes off, I looked like a brown cucumber. Little bumps and things. I didn't look voluptuous and anything. And there was this voice that was coming out. So, a fellow I had seen who used to just pass me, he didn't care for me. I'm convinced he didn't. It was just his way of saying hi. He'd say, when are you going to let me talk to you? So one night I thought, now. I swear.
And you became pregnant?
Yeah. It just shows you what, letting somebody talk to you can do.
The power of conversation.
The
spoken word.
That's it.
Yes, but with that voice, it was that voice that took you through. You were a bus conductorette, and then you were a chef and all manner of things, and then you became a singer.
Yes, well, I was really a dancer. I loved to dance, and I started studying dance when I was about 14 because I was so tall. I simply could not get all the elbows and knees and arms all together. So someone told me to study dance, and I found I had a white teacher. Mind you, and I'd come from the South. And I had a white female teacher who told me what I should do is, quote, occupy space. Isn't that wild? Boy, that's all I got to do. So I went out and occupied space.
And you were the principal dancer in the touring version of Porgy and
Yes.
Bess. Yeah, that took you to many places. In your book, the latest book that we have, in Yugoslavia, they hadn't seen too many black people before.
No, they hadn't, and it was, I hadn't seen that many white people either.
No.
Really, to see them, which was fantastic, because when I grew up in my little town, I thought that white people, that black people were people and white folks were white folks. And so that if I put my hand on a white person, it would go all the way through. Because there wouldn't be any honest to people. So when I got to Yugoslavia, I already had French and Spanish. And I took some classes so I could speak Serbo-Croat. And I speak a number of languages because when I go abroad, away from the U.S. or away from Africa, it must be remembered that I'm 6 foot tall, black, and female. So I want to cut down on the unusual things, so I try to speak other people's languages. And I got to Yugoslavia, and people would press against the windows of the stores, and till the owners would have to go out and go, and things, get away. So, and then people would stop me in the street and start singing. Deep river, my home is over Jordan. They'd heard Paul Robeson. And I was black.
That was the only other black person they'd ever seen.
And he sang Deep River. So they just start singing to me in the street. So I would join them and, Yeah. I believe that I am a human being and nothing human can be alien to me. That's what I really believe. And that's why my books are of interest.
Okay.
But also, there must be, I have to tell you this. I promised myself I would say it on air.
Steady.
Well, okay, very steady, but the truth. Your crossover audience is so incredible. Today I signed books in Lewisham at Books Plus, a little bookstore. And there were older women, very serious and very controlled and very contained and who are fans of mine. And they said, well, welcome to England, and I hope you'll have a good time here. And I said, well, tonight I'm doing the Wogan show. And
threw up in a corner.
No, and they just laughed so. Then I have a 15-year-old friend who is an English girl, Kate, who told me, touch his knee. I said, I will not. I will go far, but I won't go that far. I don't know him that well.
No, we're talking. That's how all your trouble started in the first place.